Hello future engineers, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're still new to my channel and you like what I'm doing, please don't forget to share my videos to your friends and to your friends' friends. To your younger brothers and sisters who would want to take up engineering in the future, and to your relatives. That's one way you can keep me going, inspired and refreshed. Now, if you find my videos interesting and important to your studies, also please don't forget to subscribe. Hello, future engineers. Here is another video in Engineers in Progress. I hope that this batch of problems will help you improve your thinking skills, especially in worded problems. If you want to anticipate the solution to these problems on simple interest investment problems, then you can by pausing the video. A wholesaler's bill requires a merchant to pay $1,200 at the end of 100 days but offers a reduction called a discount of $48 for immediate payment. So what is the highest rate at which he could afford to borrow from his bank in order to pay now? So if the merchant is offered $48 discount, then the present worth of the amount would be 1,200 minus 48, so that's 1,152, but the future worth is still 1,200, and we use F equals P quantity 1 plus Ry, the principle and the formulas derived in the preceding slide. So this is problem 11 already, and this is the last video for simple interest and investment problems. So F equals P quantity 1 plus Ry, where F is 1,200 and P is 1,200 minus 48 after offering this discount for 100 days. Y is 100 over 360, of course. So 1,200 equals 1152, quantity 1 plus R times 100 over 360. Again, 1152 is 1,200 minus 48. Solving for R is 0.15 in decimal and in percent 15%. Problem 12, the list price of a bill of goods is $1,500 payable at the end of 150 days. A discount of $90 is offered the purchaser for payment at any time within 30 days. So what is the highest interest rate at which he can afford to borrow money in order to obtain the discount? So for this rate to be highest, he should pay, because it is mentioned here that the purchaser or the purchaser can pay anytime within 30 days. So for the rate to be highest, then the purchaser should pay at the end of 30 days, so that the remaining time period would be 150 minus 30, so 120. So still F equals P1 plus quantity P times quantity 1 plus Ry, where R is the highest interest rate to obtain this discount, and the present worth would be 1,500 minus 90. This is still the future worth. So based on the solution in the preceding problem. But the time is 150 minus 30, so 120 divided by 360. So that's problem 12. F equals P1 plus Ry. F is $1,500. P is 1,500 minus 90, which is 1,410. And R is the unknown here. And Y is again 150 minus 30, so 120 days only over 360. For this problem, for the rate of interest to be highest. So that's the analysis for this problem. 1,500 is 1,410. Quantity 1 plus R times 120 over 360. So solving for R is 0.911915 or 19.15%. Problem 13. With a given data, solve F equals P1 plus Ry for P to the nearest cent. Then A, part A, F is $1,200, R 0.04, and Y is 5.6. Part B, F is $3,500, R is 0.05, and Y is 5 over 12. So for part A, we just substitute into the formula. 1,200 equals P quantity 1 plus 0.04 times 5 over 6. Solving for P is $1,161.29. Then in part B, 3,500 equals P quantity 1 plus 0.05 times 5 over 12. Solving for P with your calculator there, $3,428.57. Problem 14. This is now in investment problems. A woman invested $25,000 into business ventures. Last year, she made a profit of 15% from the first venture but lost 5% from the second venture. If last year's income from the two investments was equivalent to a return of 8% on the entire amount invested, how much had she invested in each venture? So I equals P1R1 plus P2R2. Then if the business uh, earns or gains, then R is just treated positive. If the businessman loses, then the rate is just uh, made negative, and the total investment or income should be equal to the principal total capital times the resulting or the net interest or the return, net return on the investment, entire investment. So problem 14I equals P1R1 plus P2R2, where I is equal to $25,000 times 8% or 0.08, and this is equal to P1 times 0.15 plus P2, where P2 is 25,000 minus P1, and R2 is negative 0.05 because it is mentioned here that the woman loses 5% in the second venture. So 25,000 times 0.08 equals P1 times 0.15, then plus quantity 25,000 minus P1 times negative 0.05. Simplifying, we have P 0.15 plus 0.05, so 0.2 of P1 in the left side, then in the this is 2,000 equals 0.2 of P1, then minus 1,250, so P1 is 2,000 plus 1,250, 3,250 divided by 0.2. So P1 is equal to 16,250. That's the principal or capital in the first venture. The capital in the second venture is equal to 25,000 minus P1, and that is equal to $8,750. Problem 15. An investor wishes to realize a return of 12% on a total of two investments. If he has $10,000 invested at 10%, how much additional money should be invested at 16%? So the net return or the interest is equal to the total capital, which is 10,000 plus the additional capital X times 0.12, and it is equated to $10,000 times 0.10 plus the additional amount P2 or X times 0.16. So $10,000 times 0.1, that's the interest in the first venture, and plus P2 times 0.16, and it is equated to the total principal, which is 10,000 plus P2 times 0.12. Simplifying this equation, we have 0.04 P2 in the left side, 0.16 minus 0.12. Then on the right side, 10,000 times 0.12 minus 10,000 times 0.1. So 0.04 of P2 equals 0.02 of 10,000 because 0.12 minus 0.1 is 0.02 and they have the same common factor of 10,000. Solving for P2, P2 equals $5,000. So that's the additional uh, inve investment at earning at 16%. Problem 16, a retail merchant invested $6,500 in three kinds of cameras. The profit on the sales of camera A was 25%, on the sales of camera B the profit was 12%, and there was a loss of 1% on the sales of camera C. If the merchant invested an equal amount in cameras A and B, and the overall profit on the total investment was 14%, how much was invested in each kind of camera? So take note that the total capital was $6,500 and equal amount was invested for cameras A and B. So that is I equals P sub A RA plus P sub B R sub B, then plus P sub C R sub C, where R sub C this time is negative 0.01 because there was a loss of 1% on the sales of camera C. So P sub A equals P sub B, and the total investment is 6,500. Therefore, P sub A plus P sub B plus P sub C equals 6,500. P sub C, therefore, because we can combine these two, we replace P sub B by P sub A. They are equal. So P sub C is 6,500 minus 2 times P sub A. So 6,500 minus 2 times P sub A because P sub A equals P sub B from this equation. Substitute into this equation where I is equal to 6,500 times 0.14. Then it is equated to P sub A times 0.25 plus P sub A, P sub B, which is P sub A times 0.12. So we replace P sub B by P sub A. Then plus P sub C, which is quantity 6,500 minus 2 P sub A times negative 0.01. So simplifying 0.12 plus 0.25 plus 0.12 is 0.37. Then negative 2 times negative 0.01 is 0.02. So 0.39 P sub A in the left. 6,500 times 0.14 is 910. 0.39 P sub A, then 6,500 times negative 0.01 is negative 65. So solving for P sub A, 910 plus 65, 975 divided by 0.39. So P sub A is equal to P sub B equals $2,500. Therefore, the capital for the third kind of camera is 6,500 minus 2 times 2,500, so $1,500 for P sub C. Problem 17. Maria invested a portion of $31,750 at 9% and the remainder at 10%. If the total income from the money is $3,020, how much did she invest at each rate? So I equals P1 R1 plus P2 R sub 2, where I is equal to $3,020. P sub 1 is just P sub 1 and P sub 2 is 31,750 minus P sub 1. So 3,020 equals P sub 1 times 0.09, then plus P sub 2, which is 31,750 minus P1 times 0.10, 0.1 or 0.10. Simplifying, we have here negative 0.01 P1, so to the left 0.01 P1. Then on the right side, 31,750 times 0.1, that would be 3,175 minus 3,020, so that would be 155. So solving for P1, 1,155 divided by 0.01, that would be $15,500. So at 9%, then at 10%, the capital is equal to 31,750 minus 15,500, and that is equal to $16,250 invested at 10%. Problem 18, Nguyen has an income of $30,000 from the business he inherited. He pays a total income tax of 28% and invests part of the amount left at 10% and the remainder at 12%. How much is invested at each rate if the total income from these two investments is 2,360? So still 2,360 is equal to P1 R1 then plus P2 R2. Then the total capital is $30,000 less the tax of 28%. So 1 minus 0.28 times $30,000. So that's problem 18I equals P1 R1 plus P sub 2 R sub 2, where the total principal is P1 plus P2 is again quantity 1 minus 0.28 of $30,000, and that is equal to $21,600. So if we denote P1 as the amount invested at 10%, then the amount invested at 12% is $21,600 minus P1. So 2,360 equals P1 times 0.1, then plus quantity 21,600 minus P1 times 0.12. So simplifying, so we have 0.1 P1 minus 0.12 P1. So negative 0.02 P1 transposed to the left. So 0.02 P1 equals 21,600 times 0.12 minus 2,360. That would be $232. So P sub 1 can now be computed to 32 over 0.02, and that is equal to $11,600 at 10%. So the amount invested at 12% is 21,600 minus 11,600, and that is $10,000. So we proceed to problem 19. A firm wants to invest $50,000. Part of it is invested in a fund that pays 12.5%, and the remainder is one that pays 14%. Find the sum at each rate if the annual income from the two is 6,640. So again, this is problem 19. I equals P1 R1 plus P sub 2 R sub 2, where P1 is just P1 and P sub 2 is 50,000 minus P1. So 6,640 equals P1 times 0.125, then plus quantity 50,000 minus P1 times 0.14. So since 0.125 B1 minus 0.14 B1 is negative 0.025 B1, transpose that to the left, so 0.025 B1, 0.015 B1 rather, is equal to 50,000 times 0.14 minus 6640, and that is equal to 360. So P1 equals 360 over 0.015. So the amount invested at 12.5% is $24,000, and the amount invested at 14% is 50,000 minus 24,000. P sub 2 is $26,000 at 14%. Two more problems. Problem 20. Hatoski has $10,000 invested at 7.4%. How much can he invest at 5% in order to make 6.6% on his total investment? So I equals P1 R1 plus P2 R2, where I is equal to total capital, which is 10,000 plus P sub 2. P1 is $10,000. P sub 2 is unknown. So total investment is 10,000 plus P sub 2, and and net interest would be 6.6% as mentioned here. So 10,000 plus P sub 2 times 0.066 is equal to 10,000 times 0.074 plus P sub 2 times 0.05. So simplifying, 0.016 P2 in the left side, 0.016 P2 equals 10,000 times 0.7074 minus 10,000 times 0.066, and that is 80. So P sub 2 is equal to 80 over 0.016, $5,000. So that's the amount invested at 5%, so that Hatosky can realize a return of 6% on his total investment. Lastly, problem 21, Jane Mindelo has $18,000 invested and gets an income of 1,470. Part of the investment pays 10% and the remainder pays 7%. How much is invested at its rate? So we call I equals P1 R1 plus P2 R2. So I is 1,470, and this is equated to P1 times 0.1, then plus P2. So P sub 2 is total capital minus P1. So quantity 18,000 minus P1 times 0.1, 0.07, sorry. Simplifying, so zero point 0.1 minus 0.07 is 0.03 P1, then 1,470 minus 18,000 times 0.07 in the left side is equal to 210, and on the right side 0.03 P1. So therefore P1 is 210 over 0.03. So P sub 1 equals $7,000 at invested at 10%. Then P sub 2 is 18,000 minus 7,000, so 11,000 invested at 7%. So that's it for this video. I hope that uh, you can now master problems on investment and partly engineering economy on simple interest.